If bread is part of your daily routine, this may be the most important thing you hear today. The bread most Americans eat isn't failing because of overeating. It's failing because it's no longer real bread. Many popular brands are engineered to look healthy while quietly flooding your body with refined starches, added sugars, and industrial additives that digest fast and leave you hungry, bloated, and crashing soon after. And because bread feels simple and familiar, people trust it without question. In this video, we're breaking down 12 US bread brands you should avoid, even though they dominate grocery shelves and health claims. And don't worry, not all bread is broken. At the end, we'll reveal 4 bread brands that actually do it better, with the final one being the cleanest option available today. Now let's get into the brands that cause the most problems, starting from the bottom. Brand number 12. Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread is one of the most recognizable bread brands in the US, but it's also one of the least nutritious. Its main ingredient is refined white flour, which has had the fiber, vitamins, and minerals stripped out during processing. What's left digests very quickly, causing fast blood sugar spikes followed by hunger not long after eating. That's why Wonder Bread rarely keeps people full. The soft, fluffy texture isn't natural either. It's created using preservatives, dough conditioners, and processing aids designed to keep the bread pillowy for weeks. These additives improve shelf life and appearance, not health. Despite being fortified with a few synthetic vitamins, the bread still lacks real nutritional value because there's no natural fiber or whole grain structure to slow digestion. Wonder Bread is essentially a vehicle for refined starch and additives with very little benefit for daily eating. It may taste familiar and nostalgic, but from a health perspective, it offers calories without nourishment. And unfortunately, this type of heavily engineered bread is far more common than most people realize, especially once you look beyond this first brand. Brand number 11. King's Hawaiian Bread. King's Hawaiian is often seen as a premium, feel-good bread brand, but most of its mainstream loaves and rolls are closer to dessert than real bread. These products are built around highly refined flour, added sweeteners, and softness agents designed to keep the bread fluffy for weeks. The sweetness isn't accidental. It's engineered to boost repeat eating, not nutrition. Despite the branding, these breads rely on industrial dough systems, conditioners, and shelf-life stabilizers that strip away any whole food value. The texture is soft because it's processed, not because it's fresh or fermented. Many consumers assume it's a better option because it's not white bread, but nutritionally it behaves very similarly: fast digestion, minimal fiber, and little satiety. This makes King's Hawaiian a perfect example of how branding can disguise ultra-processed food, which is exactly why it belongs high on this avoid list. Brand number 10. Pepperidge Farm White and Soft Breads. Pepperidge Farm has a premium image, which makes many people assume these breads are higher quality. But when it comes to their white and soft bread lines, the ingredients tell a different story. These breads are built on enriched flour, which means the original grain has been heavily processed and stripped of natural fiber and nutrients. A few synthetic vitamins are added back, but that doesn't restore the original nutritional value. Another concern is the use of dough conditioners. These chemicals help control texture, volume, and consistency, making the bread soft and uniform every time. The problem is that this softness is engineered, not natural. It allows the bread to sit on shelves for long periods without going stale, prioritizing shelf stability over freshness. Because of this processing, the bread digests quickly and doesn't provide lasting fullness. It may taste smooth and familiar, but it behaves more like refined carbs than real food. And as you'll notice with the next brand, long shelf life often comes at the cost of real quality. Brand number 9. Sara Lee Classic Breads. Sara Lee Classic Breads are built for scale, not quality. One of the biggest issues is the use of highly processed dough systems designed to produce massive volumes quickly. These systems rely on mechanical mixing, rapid fermentation, and stabilizers to force consistency, rather than allowing the dough to develop naturally. The result is bread that looks uniform but lacks real structure and depth. Another concern is the use of soy-based emulsifiers. These ingredients act as binders, keeping the bread soft and sliceable for long periods. While they improve texture, they also signal heavy industrial processing and add unnecessary complexity to what should be a simple food. For many consumers, soy exposure is something they try to limit, yet it's rarely noticed here. Because of this manufacturing approach, freshness becomes secondary to efficiency. The bread is engineered to last, not to nourish. And as we move to the next brand, this factory-first mindset becomes even more obvious, just packaged with a different image. Brand number 8, Arnold / Brownberry / Oroweat. These three brands look different on the shelf, but they're owned by the same parent company and follow the same formula. The biggest issue here is the gap between marketing and reality. Labels like whole wheat, whole grain, and baked with care suggest traditional bread, but the ingredient lists tell a different story. In many of their loaves, refined grains still make up a large portion of the flour base, with whole grains added just enough to qualify for the label. Another concern is the use of industrial seed oils. These oils are added to improve softness and extend shelf life, but they're highly processed and not something most people expect in everyday bread. Instead of relying on natural fermentation or simpler fats, these loaves depend on modern shortcuts to stay soft and uniform. So while the branding feels wholesome and trustworthy, the bread itself is heavily engineered. And as we move to the next brand, you'll see how this same strategy is pushed even further in the name of convenience and mass appeal. Brand number 7, Great Value Bread. Walmart. Great Value Bread is built around one priority: keeping the price as low as possible. To do that, quality takes a back seat. The formulation is cost-driven, which means cheaper ingredients, faster production, and fewer nutritional benefits. This bread is designed to be filling and soft, not nourishing. One major issue is the heavy use of dough conditioners. These ingredients help the bread rise quickly, stay uniform, and remain soft for long periods, even after weeks on the shelf. That softness isn't a sign of freshness, it's a sign of industrial processing. The bread is made to survive transport and storage, not to support daily health. Another problem is minimal fiber. Even loaves that appear brown or wheat-based often contain very little natural fiber, which means poor digestion support and low satiety. You eat it, but you're hungry again soon. If breakdowns like this are helping you shop smarter, hit subscribe. This channel exists to save you time and bad choices. And comment below, did you expect a budget bread to cut this many corners? Brand number 6, Kroger brand bread. Kroger brand bread is another example of how private label products often sacrifice consistency for scale. Because Kroger sources this bread from multiple large manufacturers, the formula isn't fixed. The ingredients, texture, and quality can vary depending on where you buy it and which supplier produced that batch. That inconsistency is a red flag for a daily food. To keep production fast and uniform across regions, these breads rely on additive-heavy formulas. Emulsifiers, stabilizers, and dough enhancers are used to control texture and appearance rather than improve nutrition. This allows the bread to look and feel the same, even when the underlying ingredients are lower quality. Another issue is how processed the dough system is. Instead of long fermentation or traditional baking methods, speed is the priority. That means less flavor development and fewer naturally occurring nutrients. Kroger brand bread isn't the worst on the shelf, but it's built for convenience and volume, not health. And as you'll see next, some brands take these shortcuts even further. Brand number 5, Thomas Bread Products, non-artisan lines. Thomas is best known for English muffins, but their non-artisan bread products follow the same industrial playbook as many mass-market loaves. The biggest issue here is heavy preservative reliance. These breads are engineered to stay soft and mold-free for long periods, which means freshness is replaced with chemical control. The texture is another red flag. Instead of coming from proper fermentation or quality flour, the softness is manufactured using dough conditioners, emulsifiers, and processing aids. That spongy, uniform bite isn't natural bread behavior. It's the result of overprocessing. While added sugars are present, the deeper concern is how stripped down the base ingredients are. The flour is highly refined, the fiber is minimal, and most of the original grain structure is gone before baking even begins. What's left is a bread product that fills space but offers very little nourishment. Thomas bread looks familiar and comforting, which is exactly why it sells. But as you'll see with the next brand, familiarity is often used to hide even bigger compromises. Brand number 4, Nature's Own Bread. Nature's Own markets itself as a cleaner, more natural option, especially with claims like no artificial preservatives. But this is where a major loophole comes in. Instead of artificial preservatives, the brand relies on processing techniques, refined ingredients, and chemical-friendly baking methods that achieve the same shelf-life result without triggering the label. The foundation of these breads is still heavily refined flour. That means most of the grain's natural fiber, nutrients, and structure are removed long before baking. What you're left with is a fast-digesting product that behaves more like a soft carbohydrate sponge than real bread. Another issue is the ultra-soft, uniform texture. Real bread made with simple ingredients has variation, chew, and density. Nature's Own loaves are engineered for maximum softness, which usually signals aggressive processing and dough manipulation rather than quality fermentation. This brand succeeds because it feels like a safe upgrade from white bread. But as we move closer to the top of this list, you'll see brands that go even further in disguising industrial bread as something wholesome. Brand number 3, Sunbeam Bread. Sunbeam is one of the most recognizable bread brands in America, and that familiarity is exactly why it deserves scrutiny. This bread is built on bleached, highly refined flour, which means the grain has been stripped of its natural fiber, vitamins, and structure before it even reaches the bakery. What's left is a starch-heavy base that offers fullness without real nourishment. The signature softness Sunbeam is known for doesn't come from quality baking. It's created through artificial softness agents and dough conditioners designed to keep the loaf uniform and fluffy for weeks. Real bread firms up over time. Sunbeam is engineered not to, and that's not a good thing. There's also no meaningful whole food value here. No intact grains, no natural fermentation benefits, and no nutritional depth. It's bread designed to look comforting, not to support daily health. If this breakdown just made you rethink what's been sitting on your kitchen counter for years, that's exactly why this channel exists. Subscribe so you don't have to keep guessing which everyday foods are actually helping you and which ones are quietly doing damage. And tell me this in the comments. Was Sunbeam something you trusted before today, or did you already suspect something was off? Brand number 2, Lewis Bake Shop. Lewis Bake Shop presents itself as a reliable, everyday option, but the structure of the bread tells a more industrial story. One of the main concerns is the heavy use of dough stabilizers. These are added to control rise, softness, and shelf life, allowing the bread to be produced faster and stay uniform for longer periods. That consistency comes from chemical assistance, not ingredient quality. The bread is also dominated by refined carbohydrates. Most of the grain's natural fiber and structure are removed early in processing, leaving behind a fast-digesting product that fills you up briefly but offers little real nourishment. It's bread designed for volume eating, not sustained energy. Then there's the ingredient list. When bread requires a long list of conditioners and processing aids just to function, it's a sign the base ingredients can't stand on their own. And while Lewis Bake Shop cuts corners quietly, the next brand takes everything wrong with modern bread and pushes it even further, earning the number 1 spot on this list. Brand number 1, White Bread Store Brands, generic category leader. This category takes the #1 spot because it represents the lowest standard bread can reach while still being sold as food. Generic white bread store brands are built for one purpose only: maximum shelf life at the lowest possible cost. Everything else comes second. These loaves use the poorest quality refined flour available, stripped of fiber, nutrients, and natural grain structure. What you're eating is essentially processed starch shaped into bread form. There's no meaningful nutrition, no natural fermentation benefits, and no whole food value left. To keep these breads soft and uniform for weeks, manufacturers rely on aggressive processing and dough chemistry. The texture is engineered, not baked. Real bread changes over time. This bread is designed not to. What makes this category especially dangerous is how normal it feels. It's cheap, familiar, and everywhere. But it sets the baseline for why bread in America is so broken. Bread didn't become unhealthy by accident. It was engineered that way. Modern bread is designed for profit, not nourishment, softer texture, longer shelf life, faster production. That's why so many loaves rely on refined grains and processing tricks instead of real fermentation. And whole wheat doesn't mean whole grain. In most cases, it's refined flour dressed up with better marketing. If this video is helping you see food labels differently, subscribe so you don't keep getting misled at the store. Drop a comment too, which bread on this list surprised you the most. Now let's move to the few brands that actually respect what bread is supposed to be, with the cleanest option saved for last. Safe brand #4. Base Culture bread starting at #4. Base Culture stands out because it doesn't try to repair the problems of modern bread. It avoids them completely. This is a grain-free bread made with a very short, clearly labeled ingredient list, which immediately removes many of the issues found in conventional loaves. There's no refined flour, no dough conditioners, and no chemical softness engineering. The structure comes from real ingredients like nut-based flours, seeds, eggs, and natural fats. You can read the label and understand exactly what you're eating, which is rare in the bread aisle. Base Culture is also upfront about its purpose. It doesn't hide behind whole wheat claims or health buzzwords. It's a clean, niche product designed for people who want ingredient transparency, not mass-market shelf life. It's not meant to replace traditional bread for everyone, but as a clean option, it proves bread doesn't need industrial shortcuts to exist. Safe brand #3. Angelic Bake House coming in at #3. Angelic Bake House earns its spot by focusing on how bread is made, not just how it's marketed. This brand uses sprouted grains, which changes the structure of the grain itself. Sprouting helps break down starches, makes nutrients more available, and creates bread that's easier to digest compared to standard refined loaves. Another key difference is the ingredient list. Angelic Bake House keeps it shorter and cleaner than most mainstream breads. There's no reliance on dough conditioners or chemical shortcuts to force softness or speed up production. The texture comes from the grains and fermentation, not from additives. The bread also has more natural density and chew, which is what real bread is supposed to have. It doesn't stay artificially soft for weeks, and that's actually a good sign. This brand isn't perfect, but it respects traditional bread making far more than most. And as you'll see next, the remaining options push ingredient quality and transparency even further. Safe brand #2. Silver Hills Bakery at #2. Silver Hills Bakery stands out for how it treats grains before they ever reach the oven. This brand uses sprouted whole grains, which naturally change how the bread digests. Sprouting helps reduce rapid blood sugar spikes and makes the bread more filling compared to standard refined loaves. Silver Hills is also more transparent than most mainstream brands. The ingredient lists are clear, the sourcing is explained, and the bread doesn't rely on dough conditioners or chemical shortcuts to force softness. The texture is firmer and more substantial, which is what real bread should feel like. This is bread designed for steady energy, not quick hits of refined carbs. It's not perfect, but it avoids many of the traps that dominate the bread aisle. And while Silver Hills does a lot right, there's still one brand that simplifies things even further, earning the top spot for clean bread. Safe brand number 1, local/fresh-baked artisan sourdough, cleanest option. At number 1, the cleanest bread option isn't a national brand at all. It's local, fresh-baked artisan sourdough. When made properly, sourdough uses natural fermentation instead of chemicals to develop texture and flavor. This long fermentation process breaks down gluten, improves mineral absorption, and makes the bread easier to digest for many people. Real artisan sourdough has a very short ingredient list: flour, water, salt, and starter. No dough conditioners, no softness agents, no shelf life engineering. It goes stale faster because it isn't designed to sit on a truck or shelf for weeks, and that's a good thing. This is bread made for nourishment, not profit margins. If you want the least manipulated, most honest bread available, fresh local sourdough is the gold standard and the best choice overall. Bread is one of those foods people eat every single day without thinking twice. And that's exactly why quality matters more than perfection. This video isn't about fear or cutting everything out. It's about awareness. Knowing what's actually in your food so you can make better choices, even small ones, over time. That's what this channel is about: breaking down everyday products, calling out the problems, and showing you the cleaner options so you're not guessing in the grocery aisle. And if this opened your eyes, don't miss the video on your screen right now about fake honey brands. It exposes how one of the most trusted foods is being manipulated just like bread. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.